Right. Okay. So for people who don't know Selena and Wade, I think you guys were actually our first Nestman group that we helped co-buy a home up in upstate New York. And you guys were both living in New York at the time. And we're friends. You guys ended up buying a beautiful place in Hudson and use it and rent it out. It sounds like Matt on the Nesmith team actually just stayed there with his family
Mhm.
last week, which is really cool. And this was, man, almost 3 years ago. So, yeah, just wanted to do a check in and an update with you guys and see how everything's going. And maybe at the end, just a couple pieces of advice for either first time home buyers or friends that are thinking about co-buying in the future, and any recommendations or advice you would give to them. But yeah, how is the house a couple years in right now? Is it what you expected home ownership to be, especially since you guys are renting it out?
You want to
Uh,
go first? Go for it. Go for it.
yeah. I mean, I think it seems like it's going well, but it also isn't exactly what I guess expected completely, but it's not far off. I think we're pretty close to what I think our goals were initially to just like kind of get closer to breaking even, but I also think reality of like doing all of the additional renovations and stuff like that takes more time and more energy. And we're still in the process, I think, of doing what we want to do, but it's just obviously taking a little bit longer than
Yeah,
maybe
Yeah.
initially planned.
yeah, it's always the case.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
And if I were to give more context for for folks listening, we bought like a newer house. So it was built in 2012. It's kind of like a kit house. And our house is a little odd in the sense that like normally you would dig out and set it into the ground. So the basement would be in the basement. And ours is kind of like sitting up like at at
Ground level
ground
ish.
level. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we moved in, or when we saw the house, and in addition to that, it also has like a barn, a little
Pretty
two-story
cool.
barn, super cute. And when we saw the house originally, we were like, okay, well, this is what we can do. Phase one will be we'll finish the basement and we'll make it like this. We'll add on, and then we'll have more bedrooms, and we'll have more living space. And our property has about 2 acres, and we're like, and we'll put in a pool. and
Yeah.
then and then the barn will either become like a another little place to rent, or we'll make it a pool house. And we had all of these really big, perhaps naive dreams. And there was an excitement around that. And to Wade's point, like, these things take time. Like,
Totally.
we at the time we both lived about 2 hours away from the house. So like being on site to be able to manage that, like it's a lot more than you think it would be. But for me to
Totally.
answer your question, like I just went to the house on Wednesday, and I was driving. It had been maybe a month, and I drive through because our place is like kind of in the country. And I'm driving up the road, and I drive through the trees, and I see it, and I'm just like, I still get this like joy that I really love the house. Like, I look at the plants that I planted in the garden. I look at the grasses that Wade's dad brought from Iowa and planted along the side of the barn. Like, I feel such an immense pride in like how things are, even though they aren't what we dreamed of. It still feels like we've made like,
No,
it still feels really special.
I
That's
agree.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that there's like you said, like a reality check that kind of sets in. I think a lot of times like just even finding the right like resources took us a really long time to like originally we were using a management well, we've gone through two different management companies essentially. One broke up with us because he just didn't have time and it wasn't working out. And the other one we ended up pausing on because we felt like they were not necessarily doing as much as what they were taking, I guess, in commission. So, um, and then
It's good to
also
know
Yeah.
and be
contractors,
realistic about.
finding contractors, finding people to help, handyman, groundskeeper, people like there's a lot of things that we just thought that would be much, I think, maybe easier in the beginning, and we realized quickly that it's quite hard to find um sometimes good people.
Hmm.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on the flip side, once you find those people, once you do find them, it makes such a big impact.
Yeah,
And then there's a lot of things like when it comes to management, after the second go of a management company, we decided that we were just going to do it ourselves, and it's really not that hard. So like the idea,
that's
oh, it just
awesome.
started storming. Yeah, it's really not that hard. So like these things that we thought we needed someone else to do for us, we can actually do them ourselves. Like we Airbnb our place. We use we use their app. There's a lot of tech in the app that helps to like automate a lot of stuff. We set up the house really smart so that we could have door codes and we can check on everything. So even when we were really far away, we felt really connected to the house.
Yeah,
um the biggest thing, and I think it's like, you have to have, especially if your place is a little bit further away, you need to make sure that you have like somebody that you trust, like eyes and ears on the house. We have a
totally.
really good, and we found them, and ask your friends and your neighbors, like that's like the biggest deal. Ask your
I
friend.
learned that too.
Yeah.
Like just having a neighbor and having like each other's phone number
Yeah.
like is huge if you guys
Yeah.
both don't live there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, our groundskeeper guy, our neighbor gave us, and our housekeeper, one of Wade's friends gave us, and the housekeeper is incredible. Like she truly is. Like, I'm so thankful for her every day, because I mean, I don't even, I tell her when we get the booking, she writes it down. Like, I don't have to do the, are you going today? Are you, she reaches out to me when we need supplies. And then you had mentioned at the start, like Matt stayed at the house, and one of the things that both he and his wife said was like how good the house smelled. They
That's
were like,
actually huge for an
it's
Airbnb.
huge.
It's
Yeah,
something you don't think about
it's
as the
something,
owner and until you're a
exactly,
guest.
Yeah.
exactly, and that is that's a direct testament to the level of clean and the
Cleanliness.
team.
Yeah, totally. How is uh being co-owners together been? Was it what you expected? Were there challenges, or has it been a good relationship so far? I know that you guys were good friends going into this, and I think a lot of people wonder about co-buying with friends and like what that looks like after you buy.
Well, we don't talk anymore. Besides, not kidding. Yeah. No,
We're
we
not
do.
friends.
I think it's actually been pretty good. There are some times that are a little hard because I think each person's kind of in a different place, either mentally or workload wise, or um, you know,
Totally.
what we want to get out of the investment in terms of how much time and like how quickly. So I think there's always a little bit of like internal struggle sometimes with just like aligning, but for the most part we're like, I think, pretty much on the same page of what we want ultimately. So I think as long as you have the same goal in mind, you just have to understand that multiple people involved is hard. You can't just like do everything on pull the trigger on every single thing. Like you have to like it's multiple steps, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I also think, and I credit, like, our experience with Nesmint going into it, with helping sort of establish like rails. We like and I say this comparing it to friends that like bought together and didn't have like an operating agreement, hadn't really had conversations before they started about like how much, like who gets to spend what money,
Yeah.
what, and so I think that's really, it's really prevented us from perhaps having any of those like bigger, misunderstandings, misalignments, misagreements, fights, things like that.
Yeah.
I think it definitely changed the tone of our friendship in some ways just because we're business partners. So like we do have to be, there is a certain level of like collaboration, cooperation, respect that has to be there, but in
Yeah.
the end, like it hasn't impacted, like I still love Wade, like I still love
Yeah.
spending time with him, like
Yeah.
like it all
I
of
would
those
say,
things
if
still
anything, we've just
exist.
become even closer because of the
Yeah,
experience. It's
yeah,
not like
Yeah.
we've gone further apart. I think we're like on another level now where I'm like, oh, she's like family vibes versus
exactly,
like,
yeah,
not that it
Yeah.
wasn't like that before, but like it's a little more like, when you get mix a little business with personal,
Yeah.
it's kind of that.
yeah,
Uh,
What's like a shared responsibility and a different side of a friend than you would
yes.
typically see because of that shared responsibility.
exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. And I mean, we know things about each other that I like none of my other friends know.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah, the
Wade
same
knows
thing
my
happened with
credit
my
score. Like
friends.
I don't
Yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
go and talk about that to other people, stuff like that.
for sure. Yeah, the intimacy of talking about financials, I think with my group of co-buyers, my friends actually made us closer and was kind of like in some way a relief that like at least some of my friends know like what my situation is.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's like, yeah, it's like full Monty, like, this is where I'm at. And there's kind of like a cathartic aspect of talking about finances because you never really do, like outside of
Yeah.
yourself. So I found there was some sort of cathartic aspect, and still is, because we have to
Yeah.
pay monthly bills and a mortgage and everything. Um, Question, do you guys know, I can't remember your purchase price, but do you know or track if your home has appreciated since you bought it?
So I like look at Zillow. Um and I can't remember our purchase price either.
I think we paid 550.
550.
Okay.
And like every once in a while I'll go look and it'll say like I think it last time I looked it was like 570 or something like that. So like not a lot according to them, whatever,
Yeah.
but they also
Zillow's
don't know.
notoriously low too.
Yeah, they also don't know that we did actually finish out the basement.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't know that
huge.
we did, work on the exterior and like did landscaping, things like that. So like stuff like that, yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell. And then for our area, I know
The
some.
Redfin estimate is 611 right
Ooh,
now, by
hot
the way. I just
damn.
checked.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and like we experienced the same thing with our place in Borrego. Like we put so much work into it, and we see homes that sell on our street that are roughly two bed, two bath, same. And the ones that haven't been updated since the 90s, you know, go for, 60 grand less than the ones that have had like modernization or
Mhm.
renovations done
Yeah.
to it. So there's a pretty big variance that we kind of like keep in mind.
Yeah,
We're like, okay, like these estimates from Redfin and Zillow, yeah, are taking into account like, some things, but not all things.
sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think we have like ideas of like we have multiple phases of things that we're trying to achieve. And
yeah,
it's like also, I think, just understanding like what our threshold is of like how much we want to, like, it changes because that also is like some days you're like, yeah, let's go for it, and other days you're like, oh, it's been kind of quiet. So like I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
we kind of go back and forth about how you want to
When the
evolve
money is
investment.
flowing, it's like, let's buy everything. Let's do all the
Let's get the
projects.
sweetest stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
We're
then like
currently in our slow
it's kind
season.
of slow.
Come here.
We're amping up more, I think, this summer, but it's definitely like, you kind of read the market too of
Mhm.
like, oh, and maybe it's because we need more stuff. I don't know. Like that's the question that you have is like how much you want to like keep pushing,
Yeah,
uh,
Mhm.
or if it's better to just like, short term, long term type of thing. But
Yeah. It's like,
totally.
are we not getting the renters because we don't have this, or is it
yeah,
just
Yeah,
slow?
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. We go through the same exact combos with our place in Borrego.
Mhm.
yeah,
But we do know right now it's like 120 degrees, so we're not going to get many renters until September from like
Sure.
for
yes.
the next month and
Yeah.
a half.
Yeah.
But we did get surprised. We have like 8 nights rented next month, and we're like, this is
Oh,
nuts. We weren't
Yeah.
expecting a single rental. That's an extra, $1,500 in our
It's
pocket.
nice.
So,
Yeah.
oh,
This
um,
this summer we have a woman coming, and it's her third summer. Like, so we've been renting for 3 summers, and it's her third summer coming. And this time she's staying a full week, and she's being bringing friends. Like those are
that's
the
awesome.
it's like, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's so cool to kind of see that, or to see the
yeah,
people
yeah.
that like are like, we'll be back. We're coming
And I
back.
think like word of mouth things are kind of those type of people
huge.
are actually kind of better because
Hmm.
like also like we don't want to necessarily rent to just like anyone either. Like you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like it's kind of a question of like and we've had some like weird like things where like people are like, we'll take it for the whole summer or we'll try to do a whole month. And there's some things that were like a little bit suspicious about.
yeah,
Hmm.
But for the most part, I feel pretty good about
yeah,
what's happening. It's just, yeah, it's kind of evolving.
yeah. Okay, two questions, and then I'll, because you guys have given us so much time. Um, First question is, would you do it again, knowing what you know now? And then second question is, any advice, like one piece of good advice for two friends considering co-buying?
Um, So I mean, I kind of did it again,
Really good.
Oh
in a
yeah, you
slightly
got,
different way. So
yeah, yeah.
I kind of did it again, and I didn't co-buy again, but I did buy my own house. Um,
And you used
Definite,
Nesmint, right?
and I used
Okay,
Nestman.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I used Nestman. I did I mean, Mark, you remember I did the workshop,
Yeah,
um,
no, that was awesome doing the Nest Gen
and
Accelerator.
yeah, I did the workshop, and I used Nestman. I ran all my properties through the app. I shared it with my agent. Like, I still use them. The plan was to do a multifamily. It didn't quite work out. I ended up not finding a multifamily that I liked, but ended up finding a single family that I liked, and I might Airbnb it. I might not. And it's sort of taken my life on a different sort of path. Um, and it's been about, I closed April 1st, so it's been a couple
Yeah,
months.
that's fresh.
Yeah, it's super fresh. But I'm still looking at new properties. Like, I'm still every day looking at, like, what else is there? What else is there? I mean, it definitely, I mean, I've basically run out of bandwidth to take on any more houses, for the time being. But I think I would do it again, because it's kind of fun. It's kind of like, it's um yeah, I don't know. It's we it's I'm gonna be a baroness. Just gonna own properties all over the place. Um
It's real
and
life
that
Monopoly.
Right, exactly. And then for friends, just to wrap it up for me, I would just say, make sure you choose the right person, because it is, I mean, it's a business. It's almost, I would imagine, I've never been married, but I think it's kind of probably like a marriage.
Yeah,
And make sure that you have someone that you trust.
Mhm.
yeah, definitely. definitely. I would
Um,
recommend the same. What about
Yeah.
you, Wade?
Trust is good. Yeah, no, I would do it again. I think I would maybe try. I think that it was a first time home buying experience, period. So I'm
Yeah,
interested to see how the second, like Selena's already done it. So I'm curious how that differs from the first, like kind of having a little bit more knowledge of
yeah,
like how the process goes and and so yeah, I think overall I would do it again. I think it's a really good way to test the waters a bit if you're a first time buyer or if you also aren't sure if you want to move to a different part of the country because like we're so
Mhm.
set in our ways here, but then
yeah,
ultimately Selena was able to find she preferred, at the moment being up there too. So I think it's like a really good experience across the board. And then advice, I would say have as much cash as humanly possible ready at any moment.
good piece of
There's
advice. It's
always
always,
something weird going on in the closing
Oh my God.
time, and
Yeah.
like all of a sudden you need an extra like 15 grand or there's something else. So like it's just like there's a lot of last minute shuffling.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
just get all of as much cash assets up
Have all the
ready.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's always something that needs to be fixed.
Yes,
There's
exactly.
always a surprise.
yes,
You just like you have to know your threshold.
Yes,
What's
yeah.
your minimum? And then kind of go from there. But a
Really good
minimum in
advice.
terms of what you'll accept or what you'll because it's
exactly.
there's yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's a lot. There's a ton.
Yeah, but
Um,
I'm excited also like to see how it plays out in the long term because it's like it's a completely different form of investment.
yeah.
yeah,
Me. So like that is just a nice thought about like, oh, maybe this is like going to be a retirement fund or some sort of thing. Like it's just kind of like interesting.
totally.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
or maybe we
love it.
flip it and then do another one, So like there's a lot of options. Like
Or take equity out and use that as the
yeah,
down payment.
totally,
Yeah.
totally,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's
So
what my friends and I are already considering with our place.
Yeah. Maybe that's how we
um,
get the pool.
yes,
or a pool, or yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a really good point.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. I am going to stop recording real quick.